Hey, it's David here from the Freedom Founders Mastermind community. People know that I have a real bias against Wall Street, against investing in mutual funds, stocks, bonds, annuities, what I call paper assets, paper investments. In fact, that's why I don't like the 401k, the typical 401ks that are sponsored by employers or small business owners, maybe just like you. Maybe you have an office 401k because you have a financial advisor who told you if you want to save on taxes, you don't want to pay as much taxes, you want to take some money off the table and put it into a vehicle that will allow you to compound tax deferred, then the 401k is the way to go. And yes, it will save you taxes, no question about it. You'll take money off the table, you won't pay taxes on that year, and now you've got money into a fund of some kind where it has to be managed by a third party. You can't manage it yourself because if you have employees, it's a fiduciary responsibility. You can't self-direct it. So now you've got someone else managing it. You've delegated, you have abdicated your financial future because someone told you to, because society said that is the way to go. Listen, I understand that. In fact, I will tell you, I'll be honest, 20 years ago, I actually opened an office 401k because I felt guilty. I felt like, gosh, everybody else is doing it. I haven't done one. I should be doing it too. I didn't have the confidence that my game plan was working well. Well, I let that happen, let that 401k run for about 4 or 5 years, and I was so sick and tired of the legal administration that had to be updated every year according to the IRS laws, which change all the time. There's ongoing administration and compliance, so you have to pay for that, and someone has to do it. And if you're like me, back in the day when I was in my practice, I did it all. So you have a new employees coming on boarding, you've got some employees leaving. It's a nightmare. It's a lot of work, a lot of responsibility, and you actually have a fiduciary responsibility to your employees. If that account would lose a lot of money, you actually could be held liable. I'm just telling you, that's the way it is. So I shut that plan down. Shutting the plan down allowed me to take the funds that were my funds that I had contributed and roll those over, straight over without paying tax, to a traditional IRA, which I could then roll into a Roth IRA if I wanted to. And I could then self-direct. Then I could take those funds and push them into whatever I wanted to. My employees could do the same thing, or they could just take the money and pay the tax, do what they wanted to. Point is, my employees didn't care. In other words, sure, they were happy to get that money, but that kind of a bonus plan, profit sharing plan really doesn't matter to your employees. So you're really doing it for yourself. And I'm going to tell you there's a better way. So people say, David, what is it? Well, you have to first of all decide you're going to commit to learning how to invest your own money. You can't abdicate it to Wall Street, to a financial planner. You've got to learn how to do it. Now, you think you can't. Yes, you can, but you have to take the right direction. You have to have a mentor. You have to have somebody who's already taken the path and learn how to do that. I started back when I was in my first year in dental school. So I've got a few years boots on the ground, just a few, like 35, right? But I started early because I decided way back when I was in school that I was not going to be dependent on other people to show me how to invest my money. I didn't know back then that real estate was going to be the way to go, but that's where I invest today. Capital assets, hard assets, tangible assets. I don't want paper unless it's secured by a specific asset, collateral like property or a business, if I like businesses, which I do. So that's the key. So can you learn how to do it? Absolutely, but you've got to decide. You've got to decide you want to do it and make that commitment, and then get with the right people, the right group to learn how to do it. Just to show you an example of what financial freedom looks like. And financial freedom, really your true freedom, is dependent upon a number of things. I mean, certainly you want to have good health. And how many people get to a point in their life when they finally get there financially, but they have poor health? They've waited too long. But financial freedom doesn't incorporate having enough passive cash flow. That's money that comes in regularly, weekly, monthly, that you don't have to work for on a regular basis to do it. In other words, in real estate, investing in capital assets, I can do the work one time. I'll say it again, I can do the work one time. What's that work involve? It means orchestrating an investment into a specific property or into note receivables secured by real estate. Property gives me rents, note receivables give me interest. I can have the inflation hedge, I can be indexed there, I can have amortization, equity build, I can have all the things I want out of real estate. Way more than I can have in Wall Street. I have an element of control, but here's the key thing. And I purposely told my assistant not to deposit the last few days of checks so I could just show you. This is not to brag, it's just to show you what happens when you actually have capital assets producing income. I'll hold these up for you. These are checks from the last several days that my assistant's going to go deposit tomorrow. And I'll tell you, there's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of, I'd say, at least 15 to 20 checks. Looking at some of the deposits, there's definitely enough here. There's 4 figures here in a few days that totally supports my lifestyle income. I don't have to do work because I have these income streams where I worked one time to put the deal together, and each one of these are secured by a certain property. There's a property out there with people that live in that property that produce this income on an ongoing basis every week, every month. Now, it took time to get there. It took a commitment to make that happen, but you can do it too. The key thing is you have to decide. Do you want to take control of your financial future? Do you want to have a date certain where you can be free, or are you just going to keep your fingers crossed and hope for the best? I hope it's the former. I hope you want to do what I did and what we help so many other people do in Freedom Founders, and that's get to financial freedom. That's it for me. Stay freedom focused. David out.